Hello and welcome to your peek at Riviera Beach, which is just where Tharpton begins at the end of Pistoria here, where the L'Arc-en-Ciel line goes from the green district into the yellow district. Now this is going to be a model community that is going to be exported up the hill to Pfister Heights, and we're going to take this way of building these painted ladies with so much character and give them a bit more space in their backyards to allow for a beautiful system of communal laneways with parks and private yards. This is going to be a beautiful expansion up the hill in a very quiet pastoral neighborhood, but down here in Riviera Beach, it is a lovely upper scale tourist destination with the Riviera Hotel, which we'll see more at the end of this episode. Thank you so much for joining me again here in the Tyler Moore East. I'm so glad to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Come along with me and we will see what happens up the hill in Pfister Heights here on the Tyler Moore East. Alright, here we have some painted ladies built up on the hill already near our new Bauhaus School of Design. We're going to leave enough space that the laneway in the back is going to be able to be flanked by homes on either side, giving us more space and more character in the community. Now, these public laneways are going to be the place where people mill around and run into each other. They take their dogs for walks. They go for a run in the morning. They're out there barbecuing with their families at night, and everybody sort of shares the space. Now, the reason for this concept is so that people can still have quiet, green respite spaces behind their homes where they can have some peace and quiet and get back to nature, but it still provides a walkable community-based space where people can socialize and gather and get together. Also means when you have a block party, you don't need to apply for a permit to close the street because the whole block has a shared backyard. Really just a great space for people to have privacy and shared walkable community space at the same time. So we'll see how this works up here on the hilltop. We still have a few manor houses to finish off here. I'm just going to quickly flush them out with some lovely Victorians and Queen Anne's and sort of San Francisco style wooden homes. Lots of turrets, lots of attic bedrooms in these homes. And I'm not going to fuss around with fancy fences and yards for them. These are sort of the cookie cutter mansions that didn't get to pick out all of their custom finishes. These homes are a good transition in between the big mansions and estates and the smaller family homes and working class part of the neighborhood. This provides a nice buffer. I am a big proponent of mixing income levels together right in there, like living in the same building together. It really breaks down a lot of barriers, but up here in Pfister Heights, it is just still a little bit old-fashioned. It is still a little bit hierarchical. It is still a little bit stuffy up here because it is prestigious. It does have this hilltop view looking over the city. It takes quite a drive to get up that hill to get here in the first place. So it is still sort of fusty and old. However, as time goes on, these homes change. Some of these little family homes will be bought out by tech billionaires and renovated into fancy posh thing, while the big manor homes could run into disrepair and be segmented into smaller, affordable apartment buildings and might end up being rooming houses. As time goes by in a city, the character changes, the use changes, and things evolve as the community evolves. So it's in this way that we don't really have to worry too much about this hierarchy in the development becoming a big problem. Now here is the Pfister Heights Community Center. It is going to be a centrally located service center for the community that houses the fire, the police, the post office, the child care, and the sauna. All kinds of services are going to be sprinkled in here. That way we have a big, beautiful, grandiose building whose style and air match the rest of the neighborhood without us going without vital city services up here. All the citizens will be provided with all of the regular services of the city, but it's not going to be sprinkled throughout the area with a parking lot here and a concrete block building there and a fire station here. It's all going to be nicely wrapped up together in this one landmark building that will be easily accessible to all the residents of the neighborhood. And now we are going to need to put a school up here for more than just the design students. The kids and the teenagers need a place to go to school as well. As you can see, the education levels up here are not doing well right now. So I opted for a grade school that sort of mimics the Bauhaus style and will sort of fit in along with that building, which will be right next door across the street. And we're going to involve a high school as well, but it doesn't need to be a big one. This is a fairly low density neighborhood. So we will use a small technological high school to fill the role. That way it all sort of mixes in with the Bauhaus school here. You go to grade school in a building that looks like your future college. Then you go to high school to learn all kinds of tech classes to prepare you for design school. And then you go to that very pretty building and learn how to produce beautiful goods. So really sort of a theme that links all of the different educational buildings together here. And now we just have to go Painted Lady crazy. We have 4 blocks of Painted Ladies to fill in here. I'm using my Find It mod, and I've tagged all of the buildings I'm going to use in this neighborhood with the tag Wood House. That way any wooden house that I've tagged will pop up. But for this particular part of the neighborhood, I'm only going to be using the Painted Ladies, so I really only need to type in Painted Lady on Find It, and all of them come up. Then I click on the dice button on the far right hand side of the Find It menu that you see down there, and that will randomize the selection of every asset that is located in this search. So every Painted Lady is within this search here. I click the dice button and a new Painted Lady pops up. You'll also notice that I do not delete all the trees first. I leave them there, and this is because after I've plopped the house, I move the trees into its new backyard, and the trees can stay in their home, and everybody lives happily ever after together. This creates, or keeps rather, a random pattern of trees without it looking too manicured with me plopping everyone. Thank you for being so patient through all of that. You will be rewarded in just a moment with a beautiful city tour of the area. Pretty much everything is all set here now. There's the high school in its place, and the first phase of Pfister Heights is pretty much complete. So now we get to sit back, relax, and enjoy the fruits of our labor. All right, and there we have the beautiful new neighborhood of Pfister Heights, and down here in Riviera Beach, you can kind of get an idea of what these backyards are going to be turning into. Not as much space down here for parks, but everybody will get their own little yard. That might be for another day. There's going to be lots of detailing involved there. Here in Riviera Beach, this lovely tourist destination, you'll see a bit closer up in a moment all of these lovely businesses we have, a ballroom and a surf shop and a gourmet restaurant, as well as a middle-class, middle-of-the-road restaurant. We have a coffee shop and a convenience store, so all the things for a beachgoer who wants to take a little vacation in their own city without having to go very far. Thank you so much for joining me again here in the Tyler Moore East. I can't wait to see you next time. Come back soon. Take care. Bye-bye.